Hey, this is Tion. Today, I've decided to do something stupid. Today, I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Emerald with only shiny Pokemon. Just in case you don't know, shiny Pokemon are extremely rare, and in Generation 3, which is pretty insane. I saw that Smollett did this in a video he made not too long ago, and huge props to him for having that much patience.
I remember we ended up talking. We got it! That's a shiny Totodile!
Today, I'm going to try to do the same thing in Emerald, but with a little twist. I created a custom ROM that will improve my shiny odds to 0.01. That way, this video won't take 6 months to make. Plus, this will incentivize me to catch more than just a couple of Pokemon and have more of a variety of Pokemon to choose from in this run. So the rules for this run are going to be pretty simple. I can only use shiny Pokemon, no using items in battle, and we're going to be playing on set mode. Also, thanks for ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. If you want to stop the government from knowing what questionable fan art you look at online, make sure to click my link in the description and you'll pay less than $10 a month annual, and also has a 30 days risk-free. That means if you're not satisfied, you get your money back, no questions asked. That means you literally have nothing to lose. Make sure to go to expressvpn.com/Tion to protect your online security today. And with that out of the way, let's get into the run. Okay, so first thing is first, we have to choose what starter we actually want to use for this run. Now, obviously not after much thinking, I'd come to the conclusion that Mudkip is obviously the best. It's just stronger than Torchic and Treecko, and obviously once it evolves, Swampert is a very good Pokemon, so it's definitely going to be worth resetting to get the shiny version of that. Now, my odds for encountering a shiny here felt like that for some reason was actually a lot higher than it was supposed to be, but still overall, this did take me a few resets. By a few, I probably mean around 20 minutes, and I got my first shiny Mudkip. And I actually don't think I've ever seen a shiny Mudkip before, and I think it's really cool how the things on its cheeks are still orange, but it's purple now instead, and its tail's kind of yellow. I think that's really cool overall, and we're not really worried about IVs, so we're gonna continue. So for the rest of the no items in battle, which is gonna be pretty annoying. My shiny odds in this is obviously a little bit sus, so I ended up naming my Mudkip Among Us. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. The first major battle, I guess you could call it, is with May, of course, with her Treecko at level 5. And at this point, I'm still at level 5 because I haven't fought anyone else. But as you can see, Among Us is a lot stronger than Treecko, and we're easily able to take it down with only a few tackles. Now, I know a few of you were thinking, Tion, can't you just use this Mudkip and tear through the entire game eventually with a level 100 Swampert? And the answer is yes, but that would honestly be no fun. And that brings me to my next point. Who exactly am I going to use on my team besides Mudkip? I honestly don't know, and to be honest, it's not really up to me. Obviously, shinies are going to appear pretty rarely, and so when I do run into one, I really do need to catch it. Once I reached Petalburg Woods, I decided to go hunt for my very next team member, and what I wanted was a Shroomish. Now, Shroomish obviously eventually evolves into Breloom, and that would be very helpful throughout my run. Really does give my team a lot of bounce, or a good start at least, since we only have 2 mons. Now, like I said, I am hunting for a Shroomish here, but because obviously I could only catch shinies if I run into a shiny Wurmple, a shiny Silcoon, literally anything else. I don't have to catch it, but it would be pretty dumb not to. And if I run into a shiny and it's not a Shroomish, I'm probably just gonna catch whatever shiny it is and continue anyway. And no, gamers, I did not end up getting my Shroomish, but instead I ended up getting something arguably better. And what could be better than a shiny Breloom eventually? Well, a shiny Slackoth, which evolves into Slacking, which is just amazing. It looks like we have kind of like a purple theme going on here, but honestly, Slackoth is an amazing Pokemon to get here, especially shiny, obviously. To run into a shiny one of these is pretty amazing. And I just now for the first time actually looked up a Slackoth's encounter rate, and it's actually 5%. So we had a 5% on top of this shiny odds of actually getting this thing, which, like I said, is pretty wild. I end up giving Slackoth nickname Bread because when it loafs around, get it? Because bread is loafing around. Yeah, so original, I know. Next up is the Team Aqua Grunt in Petalburg Woods. Now this guy only has a level 9 tech and then a tackle, but we end up landing all of our water guns, and we take it out extremely easy for the easiest W of my life. Yeah, Bread's gonna have to take a back seat for a little bit until we get an EX. Now at level 15, I know that Mudkip could probably do a lot of damage to her team, but I'm not sure if it's strong enough to take down both Geodudes and the Nosepass. First out is Geodude at level 12, and he ends up going down to 1 water gun, and next out is her other Geodude at level 12, who also goes down to 1 water gun. Those two went down pretty well, but next up is Nosepass, and it's definitely a lot more bulky than those 2 Geodudes are. I end up going for water gun here, and luckily I do get a critical hit, so it ends up doing a pretty good amount amount of damage to Nosepass, but it does have an Oran Berry, so it is going to survive another water gun here. And then Roxanne, of course, has potions, and she uses one. But as you can see, she's going to run out, and I am eventually going to take the W. And a few turns later, that's exactly. Marshtomp's stats are obviously better than Mudkip's, and we also have access to Mudshot now, which is a really good early game ground type stab move that Marshtomp is able to utilize. It's definitely better than Mudslap. I don't even think I've used that move once, to be honest with you. Next, I had to beat up this Team Aqua Grunt to get Pico back for Mr. Briny. This battle was an absolute joke, so there's no real reason for me to show you this one. The next gym leader is Brawly, which specializes in fighting types. Now, I'm sure if I did level up Marshtomp enough, I probably could sweep through his entire team just with Marshtomp, but I think it's time for a new team member that I could actually use. I end up making my way to Dewford Cave. Now, I know Dewford Cave has an Abra in here, and it would be super awesome. I know I can't actually get Alakazam because I would have to trade Kadabra, but Kadabra would still be really good early to mid-game. Getting a Zubat also wouldn't be too bad, so at this point, I'm just running around. Not really is a shiny Zubat. Hey, so, I mean, Zubat, right? Zubat's pretty good. I mean, type-wise, that pretty much walls Brawly's entire team. But I did not think of as he learns his very first flying type move at level 21. He's gonna be great. Just nice to add this video to your favorites. So now it's Brawly time, and he leads off with a Machop at level 16, and I'm at level 20 at this point, and I get a critical Mudshot straight away for a nice one-shot on his Machop. Next out is Meditite at level 16, and I'm almost able to take this thing down with a single one, but he ends up going for Bulk Up, and then of course Brawly heals it up with a Super Potion as I go for another. Last out is Makuhita at level 19. Now this is definitely his ace, so I have a pretty good idea here. I end up going to Bread just to try to go for Yawn, and somehow I end up outspeeding this thing as it hits me with a Vital Throw. That's honestly fine because I know next turn he's gonna fall asleep. After Slackoth goes down, I end up going back out into my Marshtomp as this thing hits me with a Vital Throw. I also hit it with a Mudshot, which honestly was getting pretty scary, but since he did fall asleep because of the Yawn, I knew that I pretty much had this game in the bag. Makuhita then ate its Citrus Berry, bringing its HP back a little bit, and I think that's just out of potion range. I don't think Brawly's actually out at this point, so I'm able to take it down with one more Mudshot, and we end up defeating Brawly and getting our second gym badge, making us just the best, really. I go pick up the EXP share, and then we make our way to Slateport City, which I absolutely love, mainly just because of the music. To be honest with you guys, this Team Aqua Grunt and me were, you know, kind of twinning. I mean, we both had shiny Zubats, so I mean, he has good taste in Pokemon, what can I say? After defeating those two goons, this guy with the beard came out, and he said, "Stop," and then he ran away, so yeah, that's Pokemon. Now that I got the EXP share, I'm actually able to get some other levels on my other Pokemon. Now, I really just wanted to use something else besides my Marshtomp, so I decided to get Bread up to level 18, where she evolves into a Vigoroth, which looks pretty awesome. The next major battle is with May, and her team is pretty decent at this point, but I'm pretty sure mine is just a little bit better. I end up going for another Scratch after it hits me with a Growl, so it barely ends up hanging on as I get confused with Supersonic. I don't hit myself luckily in Confusion, and guys, yes, I just now realized that I'm actually not on set mode right now. This is like one of the very few times I actually do end up switching. I would just always press no to switch, but I was confused there, and I forgot that I was supposed to be doing set mode. Yep, he hits me with an Absorb, doing an okay amount of damage, but my Mudshot actually does a little bit more, even though it was resisted. I end up switching my level 13 Subscribe in here to take the Absorb, and I end up going for a Supersonic here, which it actually connects, which I'm pretty surprised about, and Grovyle actually ends up hitting itself in Confusion, and then I get a Leech Lies off, so this is going really well, actually. Subscribe with Bread to get Scratch off to finish the battle. I was actually surprised to see Subscribe actually put in some work there against that Grovyle. I'm sure Vigoroth could have come in and just absolutely destroyed it anyway, but it was really funny to see. Anyway, next up is Watson, the electric type gym leader, and we have a Marshtomp, so I honestly would be super surprised if he caused me any trouble. Watson leads off with a Voltorb at level 20. Now, Voltorb honestly isn't much of an issue, but this thing has self-destruct, and I really can't afford for my Marshtomp to get with a really strong self-destruct, because Gen 3 self-destruct is really scary. As you can see, Voltorb actually does end up going for it, and it absolutely deletes Vigoroth, so I switch out my Marshtomp next. Watson sends out his Electrike at level 20, and I end up accuracy of Mudshot, which is 95, so me missing that was really stupid. Next out is Magneton, so obviously goes down with only one hit, and Subscribe actually learning his first flying type move ever attack as I end up going for a Mudshot here, doing a ton of damage. Manectric hits me with one more quick attack, and I'm able to hit him with one more Mudshot to finish the battle. And obviously, that was an extremely easy battle. If you've ever chosen Mudkip in Pokemon Emerald before, I'm sure you could relate. Guess we're gonna have to go shiny hunt for an HM user? I mean, looking at it, I don't really need an HM user. I just need to find something that's not fantastic and I don't think will make it on the final team that will learn Rock Smash. So I guess let's just shiny hunt till we find something. Yeah, this is going to be an issue. I really don't know how long it's going to take to really find a shiny, and if I do and I can't learn Rock Smash, I don't know. This is just going to be a huge time killer, and oh, that was easy. As it turns out, Gulpin, otherwise known as O, can learn Rock Smash, so we get in order to actually get to the top of Mount Chimney, where we have to fight our next major. This thing had Intimidate, so I go ahead and switch out into O here. Now, I honestly just used him as fodder, but he took the bite pretty well, and he's actually able to get a yawn off. Next turn, though, he does end up going down to a bite, so I decide to go into Bread here to try to take down the Mariana. As he falls asleep, I'm able to go for a Fury Swipes here, and it actually doesn't do much damage at all. Fury Swipes is really the only move that Bread has, so I just end up going for Fury Swipes over and over, just hoping that I'm able to take a... I just continue to use Fury Swipes over and over and over. Mightyena actually ended up getting max sleep turns, which is really good for us. That way, I'm actually able to take it down without getting any damage on the Bread. Next out is Zubat at level 24, and unfortunately, I'm not able to one-shot this thing, so it ends up hitting me with a Supersonic, and then I hit myself in Confusion, and then I get it with a Wing Attack, but luckily, I only get one turn of Confusion. Camerupt at level 25, who ends up going for an Ember here. Now, I really do want this thing asleep, that way my Marshtomp could come in, so I end up going for a Yawn here, and then I go for another Fury Swipes, as I do end up getting taken out with an Ember. Now, I was going to go out into Marshtomp, but I decided to go out into Subscribe because I was pretty damaged, and we're easily able to take down Camerupt, and that was a super long battle. That was pretty sure that Marshtomp's able to do a ton of work against their team, and like I saw on the very first turn, I was able to one-shot the Numel, and I was able to one-shot the Slugma as well. But those two obviously aren't the issue. It's definitely the Camerupt and the Torkoal that she has in the back. I actually end up going for Water Gun here, just because I honestly didn't think Mud Shot would KO, so I just figured why not go for Water Gun, and I do get hit with an Attract, which is super annoying, so I have to switch out. Unfortunately, Bread only hits Fury Swipes twice here as Camerupt misses the Overheat, so I take advantage of this, and I end up going for Encore because I know it's going to get healed up. I know that Bread is going to go down here, so I end up going for a Yawn to put it to sleep. So I go ahead and go into Among Us to do some massive damage, and I actually get a critical hit, so that Yawn turn was just pointless. Flannery's last Pokemon is her Torkoal at level 29, which is definitely her strongest, which will put Torkoal to sleep in one turn, and Torkoal actually ends up going for Overheat here, getting rid of its White Herb, which is actually going to be really helpful. I end up going out into Subscribe here because I know he still needs one turn before he actually goes to sleep, so I go ahead and hit it with a Wing Attack, which does absolutely nothing, and I'm barely able. I'm stubborn, and I just end up staying in and going for Wing Attack. Subscribe does end up going down there, but at this range, I know I'm able to switch in my Marshtomp and hit this thing with a Mud Shot for a nice KO, and we finally end up defeating Flannery, getting our 4th gym badge. That battle was really a Swampert. I actually run into a shiny Numel. Now, this is really good for team bounce because it's your favorite shiny is from Generation 3 down in the comments below, because I'm genuinely curious, and I'm going to call Numel Blue for no apparent reason. Welcome to the team, buddy. I also got my March gym. Also, once we get past Norman's gym, we also get access to Surf, which Swampert could obviously, so I just end up going for a Wing Attack here as it hits me with a critical Psybeam, actually doing a lot of using with the Confuse Ray. Unfortunately, Vigoroth actually doesn't end up hitting itself in Confusion. I do get a nice Wing Attack off before I go down though. I go out on the O here. Now I can't actually use Yawn on this thing because since Blue's only at level 15, it obviously ends up going down to 1 slash, and I end up sending out my own Vigoroth. Time ever, Bread actually hits all 5 of her Fury Swipes, and on top of the poison damage, plus the actively forcing me to switch out. At this point, I'm just gonna use the same strategy I already did, as I know go and use Yawn again, and for some reason Slacking just went for another Yawn. I still can't be put to sleep, Norman. I don't know what you're thinking. And once again, as soon as this thing is asleep, I end up switching out to Swampert just to take down the Slacking, and last up is going to be his Lanoon, which can be scary because of Belly Drum, but he ends up going for Facade here, plus he knows that he probably couldn't go for a Belly Drum after one Mud Shot anyway, so one more is enough to take it down, and we end up defeating Norman. Overall, that was a really good battle, and I know we definitely did get lucky because Slacking literally didn't attack anybody. Next up is Team Aqua and the Weather Institute, but Subscribe by herself was able to focus, which was really funny. I told you guys earlier that Subscribe would not be good whatsoever at the beginning, but it will be eventually, and I told you guys, even a level 31 Grovyle is not able to withstand a super effective Wing Attack, and also after this battle, we also get an evolution, so now Zubat and Golbat. May also gives us HMO2, which is going to be Fly. Now in this game, and since Vigoroth is a normal type, it also includes Stab, plus if we're status, it does double damage, and I'll see you guys soon.